I had accidentally hit the wrong button. So, I don't know how well you can tell, but I traced out the pattern. So this is it. Right here is traced out pretty good, and then around it I left a little bit of a seam allowance. I used a white color pencil. You can use a white color pencil or a yellow color pencil to do dark fabric if you don't have fabric chalk like I do. But if you're using a light color fabric, you can also use an ink pen. I've done that in the past. Or a marker. Now because I have to have two sides of the same thing, this is double-sided. So let me cut this out. As I cut this out, I'm going to explain why I used t-shirts instead of fabric. The reason why I didn't go out and buy fabric is for a couple of reasons. One, fabric is very expensive. Two, the nearest fabric store I live near is in the next town over. And three, it is attached to the Walmart. It's not an actual fabric store, it's attached to Walmart. So yeah. But back to the first reason, fabric is expensive. Fabric is very expensive. Depending on what type of fabric you need, then you're gonna spend quite a fortune on fabric. So I'm a cheap cosplayer. I do what I can with the things that I have, with the materials that I have. So there you go, 2 pieces. So instead of going out and buying fabric from the fabric store with the money I don't have, what I did was I had a brown t-shirt that I didn't want no more, and that was this one. And then I went to a thrift store and I got this one, run by a church. It was run by a church. So I did a good thing. I bought some stuff from the church's thrift store, so I helped out the church. And also, I spent, I want to say the most expensive thing, like piece of clothing at that thrift store, is pants, and those are like $2. That's the most expensive article of clothing, whether it's men or women's, and I think kids' clothing too. So I bought a t-shirt for $1, I think. Yeah, for $1. So if you're, now this isn't going to work for everything. If you're looking for a specific fabric or a specific color, this is probably might not work for you. But if you can substitute it and get away with it, then yeah. Instead of spending fortunes, like instead of spending like $30 for 3 yards of fabric, why don't you go to a thrift store and get a bunch of shirts or dresses or pants? Because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to that same thrift store and buy some pants to tweak them for my Scarecrow cosplay pants. Probably a shirt as well. So spend like $5 for like 17 items of clothing at a thrift store rather than $30 for 3 yards of fabric. So, time to sew this together. Hold up. So, depending on the color of the fabric, you'd have to use light or dark thread or the same color thread. But because this is a very dark brown and it's Scarecrow, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm using a black thread, and I'm hand sewing it for a couple of reasons. One, I have a sewing machine, but I don't know how to use it. And two, because this is Scarecrow, it is supposed to look like messy. It's supposed to have a messy stitch. I'm going to show you how to thread a needle. You can't really see it. It's kind of hard when the end, there you go, like that. Now I'll go back over and deliberately, when I'm done with this, deliberately tear it. So that way I'll look more scarecrow-ish. Now keep in mind, don't sew the bottom. Don't sew the bottom right here. And don't sew the side right here, because this is where your face is going to stick out, and this is where it's going to attach to your cloak. So you're going to start from, you're going to do all this, but not the bottom or this side. Because I cut them together, I don't have to worry about making sure that they match, because I cut them together. Now this stitch I'm going to do clean, but when I'm done with it, I'll flip it inside out, and I'll flip it right side out, and on the right side I'll go back and stitch over it with this color. It's not a white, it's kind of like a tan or an off-white color. And yeah, you can use a sewing machine, but to do the effects for the outside, I would do it by hand. So see when this is done. Something I thought I should mention, because I just remembered this. I saw a different cosplayer who was cosplaying Scarecrow, who was working on a hood. What she did was, after she had sewn the hood and the cloak together and everything, she used embroidery thread to go back and stitch over it by hand in places to make it look more cartoonish, while at the same time give it more depth. I don't have embroidery thread. If you don't know what embroidery is, it's when you basically sew letters and stuff onto clothes and stuff, and you use it to make patterns and whatnot. Embroidery thread is very thick. This is very thin. Embroidery thread is like, I've seen some that thick. So yeah, I'm stopping it here, and there's going to be a part 3, so yeah.